Good morning, good afternoon, good day, and good evening. Don't know what time of day it is for you, but for me, it's a good time of day. We're back at it again today. It's another day. I appreciate you guys being here with me. My migraines have been flaring up. We're going to get back on these lives. We're going to get back on them soon. You got the link to the Patreon that's going to be down below. This is, only thing I'm going to say for this one, I'm going to say like, black man. That's right, I'm talking to you. This is a reply to the comment that you left for me to take a look at your Bill Cosby video and your Pyrrhic Victories video. This isn't going to be the Pyrrhic Victories one. This is going to be the Bill Cosby one. I want to reply to each of them separately. If you don't want me to reply to the Pyrrhic Victories one, what I'll do, I'll just hold that behind the paywall on Patreon, where it's at right now. Or if you don't mind, I'll put that out there. And if you feel that at any point in anything that I say crosses the line for you, let me know. I'll apologize in public the same way that I'm putting out here in public and replying to your comment in public. But I want to tell you, man, I love what you're doing. I love your channel. I love how you're presenting your information. I love the fact that you're very positive and you're trying to sit there and make sure that, as they say, you lacing us up. You lacing up the brothers on everything that's out there. That being said, I want to give you a reply, as I mentioned, to your video. And before we actually get into that, we're talking about Bill Cosby, obviously, and we're talking about the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. We are talking about legal topics, and I haven't given a disclaimer like this in a hot minute, so I think right now is a great time as any to give one. And the disclaimer is this that I normally would give. It'd be that while we are talking about a legal topic, this is not, and I repeat, this is not legal advice. With that out the way, we're going to get started. Oh no, we're going to pause for the cause. And all ladies, y'all ain't got to drop your drawers. Y'all just got to, here's what I want y'all to do for me. I want y'all to give me a little, click. Because I'm trying to see if I can get the knowledge to help y'all stick in y'all heads. And if you like what we're doing, on the back end, on the pool, on the slide, man, tell a friend. Don't know what we're doing here. Don't know how we talking. Get that knowledge up for that legal side of it so you understand how these things are actually working. So that they say it, you're not quite sure, we're giving it to you. With that being said, so there's three things I want to cover that you talked about in your video. And the first, I guess, it's real simple. It's the fact that words matter, right? Language matters. So certain things that you would say, and I know you weren't explicit with it one way or the other. You kept saying the Supreme Court.
Excuse me. The Supreme Court has this because the Supreme Court has never didn't deal with his guilt.
And this is me saying I love 95% of your video. This is the 5% I will critique. Since you asked me for the critique, here's the 5% I'm critiquing. So language matters. You kept saying Supreme Court, and it's the Pennsylvania Supreme Court that provided the opinion that we're going to consider today, right? It's not the Supreme Court of the United States, or SCOTUS, right? This is the Pennsylvania, and it matters because from a legal standpoint, there is actually one other step that can be appealed to, and actually in this case right now, because as I did the research for it can't even go that far. And the reason why is because as of the 7th of March, about a week ago, the Supreme Court of the United States did not grant certiorari, or did not give them a cert to say that they're going to hear this case. They quashed it. They said they're done. They didn't really say they're not hearing this Bill Cosby. So it has now officially gone as high as it's going to go. So what the Pennsylvania Supreme Court has ruled, there's nobody else that's going to overturn it. So in this situation, as of a week ago, the Supreme Court of the United States has not given any opinion. As a matter of fact, they said they're going to deny cert. But as you're talking about it, the opinion that we're talking about is from the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, not the Supreme Court of the United States. And language matters. So I would say in the future, when you're you're talking about it, make the distinction between the two. I know most people don't know that there's a distinction, but make the distinction, let them know that it's the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. And that way, if anything happens and goes higher, you go like, yeah, it was the state Supreme Court, not the Supreme Court of the United States, supreme law of the land. I like how you're talking about we need to know these things. You're right. We're held to it as a standard, and we don't even know about it a lot of times. You always point out your Constitution. I think everybody, like you said, should have one. We're held to it, and we don't even know what's in there. We need to know what's in there.
This is the Constitution. I have a copy. I suggest you brothers get one. I spoke about this briefly before, but it's extremely important that you brothers get you one and you brothers start to study it.
Second thing I was going to talk about, you made an analogy. And in the analogy that you made, you compared, I'm sorry, bro. You compared Bill Cosby to O.J. Simpson.
It was similar to the Bill Cosby saga and the O.J. Simpson saga. And so
Bill Cosby to O.J. Bill Cosby is not O.J. Simpson in regards to the black community. In regards to the black community, O.J. Simpson, yeah, he married a white woman. Yeah, O.J. Simpson, he was in the country club. He ignores us, turns his back on us on a regular basis. Bill Cosby ain't never turned his back on the black community. We might not agree with him. He might be an elitist. Bill Cosby, we don't like what he says about the pull your pants up and sometimes ignoring or having these viewpoints. And we can disagree within the community, right? We can disagree on how it is. We think that we need to make these changes within the community. But he has put tens of millions of dollars. He has put his money where his mouth is in regards to the black community. As a matter of fact, there are multiple films from the 60s up until now that Bill Cosby has been adamant about black people and empowering black people. I'm gonna put a link to many of those down below, right? So as you're going through it, as we're talking about it down below, there's gonna be a link to those videos that Bill Cosby did in the 60s. It's gonna be found on the Real Black channel. I love it. I love their channel also. They're doing big things. I love the stuff they're doing. Bill Cosby even tried to buy NBC so that he can make sure we talk about in this space that we need to have a better image of black people, black men specifically, and the black family.
It's no secret Bill Cosby believes television and film are the primary battlefields of the enduring war against racial prejudice and discrimination in the United States. He felt that both the small and silver screens could be used as an educational tool to enlighten audiences and transform one's lived experience. For example, consider the way news outlets portray black criminals versus white criminals. Black criminals are often painted as thugs and vilified, while white perpetrators are portrayed sympathetically and are given the benefit of the doubt, which is why Cosby hired Harvard psychiatrist Alvin Pasquant to consult on projects he produced, including A Different World, the short-lived sitcom Here and Now, and The Cosby Show, to ensure his work did not contribute to ideas of black inferiority. In response to the negative images seen on TV and film, Cosby devised a plan to revolutionize the industry as a part owner of NBC.
And Bill Cosby was big on that. We talked about the Cosby, that wasn't my, but he made sure that the images of black people were positive. He wanted to make sure that we had a positive black image. And as opposed to everybody going like everything just needs to be at the look, that you could be father who's a doctor, mother who's a lawyer, as a black person, and you can aspire to that. He always has so you can imagine what he would do if he actually was able to be the majority owner for NBC as he was trying. I'm gonna link a video for that one. That's gonna be down in the description. So Bill Cosby is not O.J. Simpson. You talked about sending them back to the wolves.
black men, we need to stop taking these guys back and leave them to the wolves.
If we're sending Bill Cosby back to the wolves are gonna be us that we're sending him back to. Which is because we probably tear him apart based off of some of the things that he views or how he has some older viewpoints. He's elitist or whatever else, but Bill Cosby has always has tens of millions of dollars to Spelman, to Morehouse. I'm gonna put a link to a lot of the charities that he was a part of. Growing up, myself needing in the inner city someplace to go to, being the Boys and Girls Club or the Boys Club that I used to go to back when I was growing up. And that he was donating to these charities even back then and even here recently. So the other thing that he was doing that was talked about is padding those stats as well, but we can get into that another time. But definitely Bill Cosby is not O.J. Simpson. And the last point I want to cover that you talked about, you made a statement, and again, this is one of those language matters, words matter, things that you state matter. And the way something that you stated, I'm going to say is accurate, but it's misleading. You said that he was not exonerated. Exonerated means that you were cleared of all charges, and that is an accurate statement.
He was not exonerated. Exonerated meaning you were cleared of all charges.
But it's misleading. Let's get into why it was misleading. Because you were accurate in the statement, and I'm gonna put it right here on the Fifth Amendment, that it was because of his Fifth Amendment rights being violated. And the Fifth Amendment tells you that no person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime. And I'm gonna skip down to the part that's actually relevant here for what we're talking about, because it deals with double jeopardy and some other things in the Fifth Amendment. But it says, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. So in a criminal case, you have a Fifth Amendment right to not be a witness against yourself. And in Bill Cosby's case, and the civil side, he did not exercise his Fifth Amendment right. That could have been, or actually was used against him criminally later. So you, even though it's civil, you have a right not to be a witness against yourself for these criminal cases, right? So if you're gonna say something in a civil case, you have a right. There is a constitutional right not to say something that could be a witness against yourself. And Bill Cosby, what they found is that in this case, he had a type of immunity. And it's not, I shouldn't even say a type of immunity, because Pennsylvania law is clear. I'll put it right here on who can grant immunity under Pennsylvania law. So a judge needs to be able to grant immunity. The prosecution takes the information to him, the judge takes that, provides the immunity. They have a document that says that there is immunity granted in this case. However, what they did find, and this is one of the things that they stated in their opinion. Let me just read the opinion of the court. The significant aspect, and it's actually at the very bottom. So as you go through and you read, they give you the procedural history, the case history, and everything, like the court, like the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania, is like any Supreme Court in most jurisdictions. They're going to give you all that information in their opinion. And at the end, when they give you the reason, or they give you the holding on that case, where they said a contrary result would be patently unattainable. It would violate the long-cherished principles of fundamental fairness. It would be antithetical to and corrosive of the integrity and function of the criminal justice system, and we maintain the strong. And here is this last sentence here is the main part. This is the point. It's for these reasons. Cosby's convictions and judgments of sentence are vacated and he is discharged. So previously I didn't read the part where they can't bring it up again. But what that means in regards to the statement that you made as far as the not exonerated, when you go through the process from beginning to end, normally the prosecutor goes to a grand jury, tries, at least here in Texas, they go to a grand jury, they try to get an indictment or a true bill from the grand jury to say that there's enough information, enough evidence, probable cause to exist for them to get an indictment. The prosecutor in Bill Cosby's case looked at it, Mr. Castor, he looked at it and said, I don't think there's enough information here after I've been talking to Ms. Constand to get an indictment in this case. And if there's not enough information there, then maybe we can get her a win on the other side. So he made the decision to give him to say that we will never prosecute you in the state of Pennsylvania on these charges. So on these charges that are coming up, if you guys in order to keep you from pleading the fifth in a civil case, so long as you do that and you don't plead the fifth at all, you go against your constitutional right. You will not be prosecuted. Right? You don't have to worry about discovery. You don't have to worry about going to trial. You don't have to worry about judgments and You don't have to worry about once the court loses plenary power, filing the appeal, and you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You will not even be prosecuted ever, right? So normally you would have to go to a judge to get an immunity, let's say from prosecution. The prosecutor said, you will never prosecute you. And to his detriment, because they have the right, according to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court, to make that bargain, that plea deal, to say that, okay, in exchange for we will not prosecute you, and he detrimentally relied on it, then they cannot prosecute. He cannot be prosecuted. He cannot be charged. And if he cannot be charged, they vacated everything else. It's essentially saying everything else that happened afterwards never happened. So you can't be exonerated or cleared of all charges because there were no charges. You can't be found or cleared or found not guilty because you were never found guilty. So when someone says, "Oh, well, he wasn't found innocent. He wasn't found not guilty," first of all, there's no such thing as innocent within the legal system. There's no innocence. There's either guilty or not guilty, right? There's no innocent. And so, to that extent, they couldn't even find that everything has been vacated. It's been cleared. It doesn't happen. It never happened. And so, since it never happened, there's no charges to be cleared of. And if there's no charges to be cleared of, there's no need for an exoneration. So yes, he's not exonerated because there is no need for an exoneration. Those charges don't exist. It never happened, at least from the court. It happened, but it never happened according. So all that stuff has been vacated. It's been wiped clear. Don't need to worry about it. It's better than an exoneration. It's better than a non-guilty verdict. Why? Because it would never happen. You don't need to get your record expunged. You don't need to have any of that stuff. It never happened, is what the court has essentially said. So when you're looking at it, there's no innocent, there's no not guilty. Bill Cosby, when I'm looking at this opinion here, I read this entire thing, all 17. Oh my God, I hate it. As I say, I read the other stuff. I'll put the script or scribe links down below. You can read all the depositions. You can read what Constand said. All that stuff. Because the other thing that I found that was interesting, because I had to go through and read all this stuff afterwards, was he gave Miss Constand Benadryl according to his testimony. Didn't even give her Quaaludes. It was other women that he stated that he gave Quaaludes. Additionally, it's interesting the fact that what he did say was that he gave her Benadryl, or he gave them Quaaludes, that he gave it to them with the intent of having sex with them. But in no situation did he give it to them against their will. That they all had knowledge of what they were taking before they took it. That was from his side. Their side is saying that they didn't have knowledge. In his testimony, in his depositions, he's saying that, and listening to people like Judge Joe Brown, because I have to go watch a bunch of stuff and trying to get you this reply here. It was interesting. Actually, I'll be honest with you, I had one opinion of it when I went into it. After reading the court document, the actual depositions and all the actual documents, it's actually starting to sway me one way as opposed to the other. But that being said, the Fifth Amendment aspect of it, spot on. He has and again, all of this is going to be in the description down below. So you can, if you're looking at it for like, oh my goodness, what's going down in the description below. And I agree with what you were talking about from that Fifth Amendment. So I love what you're doing. I agree with you on 100%. We're being held to a standard. We should know what the standard is. We're being, and it should be common knowledge in school. Because if you're going to sit there and say, ignorance of the law is no excuse for breaking the law, as we like to say in the legal sphere, that a legal mistake is not a defense. So you can't use that as a defense that I didn't know that was the law. That's not a defense. So you should at least know what the law is. And especially the supreme law of the land, which is the Constitution. At least I've read it once. It's not that thick. Like you pointed out, it's relatively thin. And I agree with you on that, bro. It has again, outstanding delivery, outstanding information, and awesome did say, because it is awesome. With that being said, I love you, bro. I love all you guys out there. I hope you guys having a great day. Click that, that like and subscribe. Give me that little clicky. And may you always, always, always have peace in your life. And we're out.